Hello, beautiful people. This is Freedom Fighter. Thank you for tuning into our channel, Goldilocks Global Banking News. Everybody knows that Goldilocks is the #1 source for the RVGCR. People from around the world tune in to see what Goldilocks is sharing on the RVGCR. Don't miss your chance and get your latest updates every day. So like, share, and subscribe to this channel to get your daily podcast from the Goldilocks articles on the RVGCR. Brought to you by Freedom Fighter. Hello, fine folks. This is Freedom Fighter, and welcome to Goldilocks Global Banking News with over 1 million views, thousands of subscribers around the world, and many of our members in the Goldilocks Dialogues Room, establishing relationships with the actual bankers that are preparing them for their exchanges and their generational wealth to come. Folks, today, Goldilocks is dropping some bombshell information on Iraq and Vietnam. We will go into more depth on this information on the Saturday Night Dialogues call, which is coming up this Saturday on the 29th. But we're going to give you some brief information on it now that you don't want to miss. Let's jump right into it. Folks, if you all have been following Goldilocks, you remember several Saturdays ago, Goldilocks also dropped a breaking news announcement how the reciprocal tariffs, how they affect currency exchanges. Many, if not, I'll just say, no one except Goldilocks was able to provide this information because, folks, really it's only Goldilocks is the only real source providing factual information regarding the RV with receipts. So, here we have now regarding the tariffs. Vietnam makes a bombshell announcement today, where it states directly from the source, Vietnam to cut tariffs on several U.S. products. But wait, didn't we hear that Trump was cutting tariffs on countries and how Goldilocks stated it would affect currency exchange rates? Remember Watch the Water? Now Vietnam makes the announcement they are going to do the same thing on countries, specifically the United States. When two countries cut tariffs between each other, it means they reduce or eliminate taxes on goods imported between each country, which can lead to lower prices on those goods, increased trade amongst those countries, and potentially affect foreign currency exchange rates between those countries. So here we have Vietnam cutting tariffs or cutting the taxes on the United States goods coming into Vietnam. Here's a more detailed explanation. What are tariffs? Tariffs are taxes, folks, imposed on imported goods into a country, typically charged as a percentage of that product's value. It can impact trade between those countries by lowering or eliminating tariffs, and that makes goods from each country cheaper. How does this affect foreign currency exchange? Reduced demand for foreign currency. When tariffs are reduced, the demand for imported goods may increase, leading to higher demand for that country's currency. So you see, this could lead to a higher demand on the Vietnamese dong by cutting these tariffs. We'll go into more detail on Saturday. Potential exchange rate fluctuations, Goldilocks is sharing, These shifts in demand, such as it'll be more demand in the dong, can lead to fluctuations in the exchange rate of the dong between the United States and Vietnam as a result of the cutting of the tariffs. It is important to note that other factors also, folks, such as interest rate differences, economic performance, political stability, also can influence exchange rates. But these cutting of the tariffs that Vietnam is now doing on the United States, this is all a part of leveling the playing field. Reduced tariffs can also foster stronger relationships between countries. So just imagine the United States is taxed and has been taxed on goods coming into the United States from Vietnam for years. Now Vietnam says, hey, United States, we're going to cut you a break. We're going to cut those tariffs we're going to cut those tariffs with your taxes on the goods. See, this is a way for Vietnam to get ahead of the reciprocal tariffs that it's going to be imposed on April the 2nd by saying to the United States, hey, how about we cut the tariffs on you, United States, so that you don't impose those tariffs on us? You connecting the dots? This is bigger than you might imagine. And there's more coming out tomorrow that Goldilocks will share on Vietnam. It's bigger than this. Let's touch on Iraq. Iraq is set to reap the benefits of the global TIR transit system, which is the international transport service. Goldilocks actually shared about this several months ago, where Iraq announced that they were going to do this. Now, on April the 2nd, this goes into effect. The implementation of the TIR, International Transport of Goods, in the Middle East, particularly in Iraq, is likely to increase demand for the Iraqi dinar, as it facilitates and expands cross-border trade on the water. Folks, this is transport on the water. This is where Iraq will now connect to 66 countries that are within the TIR system. Iraq, therefore, meaning the dinar, will also have more demand with these other countries. This will increase trade from Iraq to other countries. And this is all done cross-border. What is cross-border? International transactions. This is yet another way that Iraq becomes a trading hub in the Middle East. In fact, I saw the report that said with Iraq now connecting to this international system for transporting of goods throughout the world, throughout the Middle East in particularly, this cuts transport time by 80% with all of these countries doing trade with Iraq. Countries will be able to do cheaper transactions, faster transactions, because now Iraq is a transport hub as a result of this, where countries having to take almost 3 to 4 weeks to transport goods to Africa, it will take them a week now to go through Iraq. This, ladies and gentlemen, is bigger than you may realize. We're going to go into more depth on this on Saturday's call as well. Iraq is quickly becoming a central hub for global transportation. So when countries need to transport their goods and services, They will be able to do so faster instead of 3-4 weeks in a week to reach their destinations. Therefore, cheaper transactions. Also, the dinar becomes more in demand because more countries will want to transport their goods through the Iraqi ports and Iraq's transport services because it is a central hub within the Middle East. This is history in the making. This will increase the demand for the dinar. With over 66 countries, folks, utilizing the same procedure of the Transport International Router System, TIR. This is the International Customs Transit System with the widest geographical coverage throughout the world. This move by Iraq will increase the demand for the dinar, influencing price pressures on the dinar going forward. Again, on the Saturday night's call, Saturday Night Dialogues, we are going to go into more depth and show you the receipts directly from the International Transportation System and regarding Vietnam directly from the World Trade Organization. Yes, I said the World Trade Organization related to Vietnam because they're already members. So as Vietnam cuts these tariffs, where are they cut? Where are these tariffs cut? On the water. For trade. And they're a member of the World Trade Organization already. Now they expand their offering in cutting their taxes on the U.S. Folks, this is big. Stay tuned. Stay grounded. It's getting better every single day. Be well. Hello, beautiful people. This is Freedom Fighter. Thank you for tuning into our channel, Goldilocks Global Banking News. Everybody knows that Goldilocks is the #1 source for the RVGCR. People from around the world tune in to see what Goldilocks is sharing on the RVGCR. Don't miss your chance and get your latest updates every day. So like, share, and subscribe to this channel to get your daily podcast from the Goldilocks articles on the RVGCR. Brought to you by Freedom Fighter.